Morning, freaks. Are we maximizing our testosterone today or what? Get some fucking strength training in. Wow, so pumped up. So a long-term subscriber and commenter, Qigong1001, I think that's your name, I'm not really sure. We were discussing my recent blood test in the video, or 2 videos ago, and talking about how they've improved with less training load, specifically with testosterone, the big T, what gets you fucking big. And he said it'd be a good idea for a video, so we're doing that video today. What is it, Thursday? So the general idea, or what has been told to people, is that running, or endurance running in general, actually reduces testosterone. And I don't actually know if this is the case. I've never even properly looked into it, but today we're gonna look into it and figure out what's actually going on. Like I've heard in the past from elite athletes, like Ryan Hall, for example, he ran like a 2:04 marathon, and he was saying that in the last couple of weeks coming up to his PB race, I think it might have been like 2:04 or 2:05, his testosterone levels were in the absolute bin. And so this raises the question for me, like, what does testosterone actually do in the body physiologically? Does running actually reduce it? And is there anything else that actually regulates how much testosterone is in your body at any one time? We're going to fully break it down today, right down to understanding what's going on, basically. So testosterone actually does so many things in the body, it's crazy, but specifically for running, what it's doing is increasing the production of red blood cells and also indirectly improving your hemoglobin, which is basically how much oxygen that you can deliver to working muscles, which is super important. On top of all the other physiological changes, like, you know, improving your muscle strength, glycogen partitioning, things like that, they all improve your running speed and efficiency. And so here's a pretty interesting study that I found about testosterone. And so what they found here is that exercise training actually is more effective in improving low to normal testosterone levels than the treatment itself, which they gave, which was basically a really low dose testosterone, like TRT or something, which is pretty interesting. What they found also was when they increased the testosterone levels, people started to lose visceral fat too, which is pretty cool. And that is also one of the other effects of testosterone levels in your body. It helps to improve your visceral fat, which, you know, is going to make you leaner and faster and all that stuff. And the girls are just going to love your abs too. Essentially, the study here is that general exercise training throughout the week is actually an anti-aging intervention in preference to testosterone treatment in men. So all those idiots that are on TRT, when they could just do some more exercise, you know, it's pretty fucking crazy, right? Oh, ouch, spikes. Okay, but let's get into the science of this stuff, all right? Okay, so does running reduce testosterone levels? Well, this study uncovered a mechanism that could actually take place, and it has to do with running and continuous exercise day after day after day, and what that actually does to the hypogonal pituitary adrenal axis, HPA axis. What it can actually do is chronic training of endurance activities. I think they said about 60 minutes per day or something like that, or at least regular aerobic exercise, can actually downregulate that HPA axis over time, which can leave you with lower to normal T levels as opposed to, you know, your normal baseline. Yes, what they were seeing was after many, many years of regular aerobic endurance training, they were seeing a drop in normal testosterone levels, which is pretty interesting. They found about a 30% drop in resting testosterone levels after 5 years, and then it kind of plateaued out. But 30% is hard to determine whether that's actually going to be something that's going to impact your training or not, because if you're still in that normal range where there's no actual impact on your physiology, then we don't really know. Like, the thing is, there's not much difference in terms of the physiological outcomes of low to high in that normal range of testosterone levels. But this next study is pretty interesting. I'll just fucking reject all that shit. So men running distances up to 80 kilometers per week appear to have a high bone mineral density. Running does not appear to have an effect on testosterone levels up to 80 kilometers per week. That is this study right here. Essentially, to prove this, what we would need is like a systematic literature review or a meta-analysis where it is multifactorial. So it has many other things that are involved in lowering T in a population with endurance athletes to see what actually is causing the lower testosterone levels. But until then, we're just not going to have any kind of concrete answers for this. But there are actually other things in life that are absolutely going to ruin your T levels, and we're going to talk about them now because they're way more important than how much you're running each week. That's not going to make any impact. Now, interestingly, what has been shown to be the case is that doing sprinting and shorter HIIT workouts does actually boost your testosterone. So if you're an endurance athlete and you're doing the HIIT kind of training and you have aerobic mileage, it's probably not a big deal that you're doing above 80 Ks a week. If you are, it's not a big deal. If you're doing lots of HIIT and you're doing strength training and you're doing the following things that I'm going to talk about after lunch, then you have nothing to worry about, okay? But I need to go back to work now. It probably seems like in this video series, I just don't work. I just can't show you what I do because I'm a physio, and so there's a bit of a confidentiality thing there. But I promise you that I do work. I'll see you guys later. Okay, so what stuff for sure actually does reduce test? Well, in that same podcast that Ryan Hall did, he talked about how he was doing 1 week fast to try and get himself into race conditioning, which is absolutely insane. So anything that's going to spike that cortisol level is going to impact that HPA axis, which will start to reduce your testosterone over time. And maybe that's the mechanism that is occurring, is that the high cortisol is impacting testosterone levels. Any stress that you're actually putting on your body, or life stresses and stuff, are all going to impact your test. That includes things like chronically bad sleeping patterns. If your sleep is all over the place all the time and you're getting less than 7 hours a day at minimum, if you add on your running on top of that, that's a lot of recovery that you're actually missing out on. And so that is going to impact your testosterone too. And like I said, fatigue and stress just come together in situations like this and really just tank your testosterone, which is going to impact red blood cells, things like that. Fatigue and stress, big contributors. I would also say that a chronic lack of adequate food intake day to day is going to make a big impact. We see things like red S conditions that are coming up now, which is chronically low caloric intake for the exercise you're actually doing. And so that's going to destroy your hormones too. It's going to really ramp down that HPA axis and cause all kinds of things in your body, way more than actually just the running in general. Oh, the camera's coming. Run away. Anyways, another thing that can contribute to this is excess body fat. If you have a high body fat percentage, your testosterone levels are always going to be much lower than if you're really, really lean, to an extent, obviously. But that can also be a mechanism in which people are losing their testosterone levels, which is going to impact everything in their body. Maybe they're just going to lose a little bit of body fat. The last thing that I'll talk about is alcohol. Alcohol is just going to ruin your body. If you're drinking alcohol all the time, that's also going to impact your hormones, your sleep. It's going to increase your fatigue, just everything in general. Don't do that. So all of those different things are going to have a much bigger impact on your testosterone levels than just running in general. Running is not that harmful. And considering that most people never actually get to a training load over time of 80 kilometers per week, it's probably something to not even worry about. There's other things in your life that are going to impact it way more. But that's enough of my talking shit today. I'll see you guys tomorrow. Peace.